Okay. Okay, firstly, thanks for joining this EFL and Snom webinar on hospitality. My name's Adam Fell. I'm the UC sales specialist here at Electronic Frontier. So a little bit about EFL before I hand you over to Paul. We're a leading value-added distributor established in 1993, specialising in networking, unified communications and connectivity solutions. We've been working closely with Snom since 2006, building a strong partnership to deliver top-tier communication solutions. We collaborate with resellers, system integrators, service providers and telcos to provide a high-quality, flexible, tailored solution. What sets us apart in our approach, we can combine innovative products from top manufacturers with exceptional pre and post sale support, whether it's hardware, cloud-based or a hybrid solution. EFL's got you covered. So next slide, please, Paul, when you're ready. Okay, so this is a little bit about the hospitality sector itself. We've worked with resellers in this space for a long time, so we've got a good understanding of how this market works. But before I go into the technical solution, let's take a quick look at the hospitality industry. It's a market that's evolving rapidly, with a global revenue expected to reach 54 billion by the year 2029. Competition in this sector is fierce, so standing out is critical. Guests now expect even more than just a place to stay. They demand seamless tech-enabled experiences. This includes everything from quick check-ins via mobile apps to personalization in room services. Technology plays a pivotal role in meeting these expectations. Innovations like contactless payments, AI-driven chatbots, and a smart room solution are key to improving the guest experience. These tools not only enhance customer satisfaction, but also help businesses streamline the operations and reduce the costs. That's why we believe that the Snom hospitality phones, with their advanced features and reliability, will give you, the customer, the competitive edge in this dynamic market. Next slide, please, Paul, when you're ready. Excuse me. So why choose the EFL? It's simple. We bring real value to customers. We only work with the best of breed products and offer a level of technical support second to none. In fact, if we can't support the product to the highest standard, we won't sell it. And that's our commitment to quality. In addition, we've included the EFL Hospitality Solutions Sheet for you. It outlines everything we're going to cover in today's webinar, included our dedicated hospitality solutions like networking, phone systems, audio visual and conferencing. This is a great resource for understanding how we can help you optimize your customers' operations and enhance their experience. So lastly, our contact details are there. Please feel free to contact us. Always happy to help. I'm going to hand you over to Paul now, and he'll take you through the Snom hospitality products. Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, so I'm just going to run through today an overview of what Snom is doing in the hospitality sector. Obviously, we are the endpoint device manufacturer. So really, it's all about how are we sort of stepping into this market more so than we were already. So, I mean, Snom has been around since 1997 when we first deployed our well, not only our very first IP phone, but it was the first IP phone from anybody. So very innovative in this sector. And then if we jump up to 2024, we have continued that innovation by looking at extending our range and adding phones that are specifically for the hospitality sector, more specifically for the guest room environment. We are a part of VTech. VTech acquired Snom back in 2016, and they have massive experience in this sector. So it obviously makes perfect sense for us to take advantage of that experience and utilize it to ours and our resellers and ultimately the end customers' advantages. So the guest room phones themselves, I mean, people do use mobile phones, of course, but the ease of calling things like, the hotel services, such as the obvious one, I suppose, is calling down to reception. You might be calling down to the restaurant to book a table, contacting the concierge, the spa, etc. But having those facilities at basically the touch of a button in the room makes that customer experience a lot simpler, a lot more direct, and a lot faster to get to where they want to be. There are, however, some conditions that you need to think about when you put in room phones in a hotel. And we've all heard of GDPR, I'm sure, and it's kind of relevant that the phones in a room, because obviously you've got the guests are changing, potentially even every single day. What we need to do is make sure that we're protecting the information and where these phones might have been used. So things, certain features such as call lists, like a phone book, last number redial is a bit of an obvious one. We need to make sure those features aren't available. So it's not just a case of switching those off or trying to control them via the platform. These features are just not even available on these handsets. So it makes them very specific and focused for the guest room environment. So I'll just introduce you to the range itself. So there are, when we first launched these were the first 5 models. We've had a couple of enhancements or additions, I should say, to the range only last month. I'll come on to that in a second. But just to briefly run through these, so your HD 100 and U101 are your entry-level handsets. Still very sort of sleek, classic-looking design. So aesthetically, they sort of meet the requirements. Key difference between those two is the 100 has got a corded handset and the 101 is a decked handset. So it uses a decked signal to send, to communicate between the receiver and the base station there. It also, because it's decked, it gives you the ability to add additional handsets. So you can add up to 3 additional handsets to the HD 101. If you've got a guest room that maybe has a bedroom area, a suite, maybe you want a phone somewhere else as well, by the door, for example. They are all PoE, but you can add a power supply to the 100 and the 101. We don't include it in the box. It's an optional accessory because the idea is that these will be installed and connected via PoE. Moving on to the 350 and the 351. Obviously, aesthetically a little bit different. You can see the full keypad on the display there. And the W in the name refers to Wi-Fi. So these 2 models are both wireless, and they have the 2 differentiators again being 350W is the one with a corded handset, and 351 uses decked. So again, you can actually add up to 4 handsets with this particular model, so you can have a 5 in total. And because these are quite commonly used as a Wi-Fi device, obviously they can't take advantage of the power over Ethernet, so they actually come inclusive of a power supply for each of these handsets. Then we have the HM201, which is kind of like the flagship model. This is a traditional decked type of a setup, as in that it has a separate base station, which means you can kind of tuck that out of the way, maybe hide it in the room somewhere so that it's out of sight. That will just simply connect up via PoE in the same method. There is a power supply option if needed, but like I say, most people try and use PoE. And then you've got your handset as well, which is obviously a little bit fancier. It's got the full color screen where all the functions are all controlled from on there. And then again, you can add an additional 3 handsets using that decked methodology to be able to connect multiple phones to the one base station. I mentioned that we've got a couple of new additions recently. So we have the HD300 and the HD30L. They both look like the picture on the left there, but when you lift up the receiver of the HD300, you can see the keypad. So it operates like a traditional phone. The difference between that and the 30L, the L reference is to the fact that this is a lobby phone. So you'll see that other than the fact that you can adjust the volume, mute, and turn it onto the speakerphone, all the rest of the keys are blanked out. The idea is that these phones are designed for areas such as in a lobby, where the customer can just pick up the handset and it automatically dials straight through to the reception, so they can ask their questions. So those are the guest room phones. It's worth just mentioning that obviously Snom have a full range of desk phones and have traditionally been working with hotels in providing our devices into places such as the front of house reception. It might be the back office, administration, finance office, where they're using a traditional type of a desk phone. Because obviously you need a little bit more functionality on those. We've been providing handsets to hotels in these environments for quite some time now, and we were getting asked, quite a lot actually, about so being ashamed that they can't also put Snom phones in the room. So the answer to that is now you can. And like I say, the back office environment, again, traditional office type phone really that's required there for people just to make and receive calls to go about their day to day. On those desktop phones, just for those that aren't familiar, we do have a D8 series, which is the most recent series that we've had. The 865 and the 862 have been around a little while now. And then there's a 785, which is one of our older, more established D7 models. But again, quite popular in a hotel kind of environment. But the 865 and the 862 are the kind of the new flagship range. They're the two higher end models. And the key difference between the two is that the 865 has got the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth integrated. The 862, obviously, for those areas where you're not intending to use Wi-Fi at all, so you just plug that straight into your network cable. We then have the latest additions to the D8 range, which are the 815W and the 812. So aesthetically, you can see they look very, very similar to the 865, 862. So we're keeping that same kind of a look and style. The 815W, the W obviously referencing Wi-Fi. So that has an integrated Wi-Fi in the handset. If you don't need any Wi-Fi on there, then you may want to look at the 812. These just come in at a slightly lower price point than the 865 and the 862, and these have just been launched and already sort of tried and tested with most platforms, and we're just going through the process of certifying it on the final few now. So, but these are available, and EFL have got all the prices for all of these handsets, not just the desktop, not the whole hotel range, all the guest room phones. So you just give Adam or any of the guys over at EFL a call on that. You can also see there the D8C, which is the additional console that connects onto any of the D8 models. You can have well, you've got 20 buttons on there, and you can cycle through 3 pages, so you've got up to 60 additional extensions per console, and you can actually daisy chain up to 3 consoles, giving you obviously quite a lot of functionality there in terms of the number of BLF keys that you've got available. So when it comes to personalising the phones, I've got just a small picture there of one of the handsets. That's one of the 351s, and the label on there is totally customisable, and that is up to you how you create that with your customer. So we've got obviously a St Martin's Resort sample there for you. Just makes the device look a bit more fancy. It's a bit more personal to that particular hotel, rather than having the Snom branding on there. You can then configure the text that you can see on there, so you can decide exactly what wording and what options and numbers you want to have available. And then with the 12 buttons that you have, you can again assign what text and what graphical image you want to associate with each service that you allocate to each button. There are 10 that you can configure yourself. The 2 at the bottom in the middle are mute and hold. Those 2 are set by default, and they can't be changed. But obviously you'd probably want to keep those features anyway. So the mute and hold can't be, but everything else on there can be tailored specifically as required by the customer. So on the left there, you can see a couple of different samples as to the different styles and colours that are available. On the other handsets, like the 300 and the 100 and 101, you've got the image towards the second from the right. which shows where the actual pre-printed template label goes onto the base station. There's also then a small kind of a sticker that goes on the actual receiver, which is obviously where the buttons are. So that's where you've got some of your quick access dial buttons. So you can, again, personalize exactly how you want those labeled up. And then on the right hand side, again, just personalizing the HM201. So obviously everything there is done on the screen. So you can upload the images to that device. So you've still got the hotel logo on there, and then personalize exactly how you want that to be displayed. Final thing to mention on the H series, and this is sort of hot off the press, is something we've just launched, is the ability to change the backplate on these models. So this is any of the HD3s, and the second column on this page is what's called the gunmetal backplate. So all our models ship with the gunmetal backplate as standard. If you did want to change the color of that to better suit the environment that it's going into, you have 3 different backplates that you can also add as an accessory. The first column there is called pearl white. The third column is the silver, and then obviously on the right hand side you've got the all black effect as well. And the customization doesn't just end on the guest room phones. We talked about the type of device that you might have on the reception area or in the back office. And as you can see, just from some sample screenshots there, you could remove the Snom logo and have either your logo as a reseller, so you can actually have it sort of personalized. So when you're deploying these to all your customers, they can all have your own business branding on there. Or maybe the hotel wants that themselves, so they've got their own hotel branding on there as well. Do note that the customization on the desk phones here does have a minimum order quantity of 50 units, but there's no minimum order on the guest room phones because they're all printed on demand. The customization on these desk phones is all done by ourselves at our factory stage. So any graphic that you like, any colors, as long as it fits in that area, you send over the image to us, and we can run it through so you can see what it looks like. When you're happy, you can have all those desk phones manufactured with your own branding on there. So just to summarize that for everybody, we've obviously got the range of guest room phones that come in both the hardwired networks options, or there is the Wi-Fi models available for you as well. Very functional devices, but of course still meeting things like the GDPR regulations for things like security for your customers. I've not mentioned the fact that they're all made with antibacterial plastic, so you've got that peace of mind of knowing that obviously you've got a different user potentially using the handset every day, so that those antibacterial properties in the plastic are very good to have. And then you have the customization as a key differentiator, really, for how you can make the phones stand out and have them personalized to that customer's environment, or for yourself as the reseller to get your own branding out there. The final comment I will mention as well, I haven't covered it off anywhere, but we do have on the HD3 series, so that includes the HD350, 351, the 300 and the 30L, do come and are available as an analog variant. So should you have a customer where they haven't quite got around to updating the infrastructure, or there may be some sort of limitations in how they can do so, then we do have analog varieties available as well. And again, the guys at EFL have got all the details for those flavors as well. So hopefully that's covered everything in terms of an introduction. I'll just put this page on for a moment so you can see some of our contact information. You got the standard snom.com website, but very useful to have is the service wiki. So if you just put service.snom.com, that will give you access to where all the data sheets are, specifications, and so on and so forth. If you obviously get stuck, you have any questions whatsoever, then your contact at EFL is there to support you. And obviously we work with EFL on a day-to-day basis. So they'll be able to answer any questions that you have. Prices, quotes, special bid requirements, the customization, the printed templates, and the like. That's my contact information as well. I'm one of the channel managers for Snom in the UK, so I'm here to support the channel. So if there's ever anything that you need that I may be able to assist with, always feel free to get in touch. But your first point of call is usually through your account manager at EFL. And that's me. So thank you very much for your time, everybody. And I'm just going to bring Adam back in. Can you hear us, Adam?
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for that. Just touching on something I mentioned earlier, our marketing department has worked on a hospitality solutions sheet. Really comprehensive sheet, covers everything that we've just covered now and a bit more. So what we're going to do, everyone that's signed up to attend to this webinar, we'll get that out to you. You can always download it from our website also. In terms of commercials, contact your account manager or someone in the sales team. We can get some commercials over. And likewise, any technical questions or requirements, speak to your account manager and we can help you through with these products. But thanks a lot for that, Paul.
No, thank you, Adam. Okay, right, well, I'll catch up with you afterwards, and thank you everybody for your time. Hopefully you've got something from today. Hopefully that was useful, and we'll look forward to hearing from Adam and the team over at EFL with hopefully the hotel opportunities that you're going to find. Good luck and cheers, everybody.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone.